And we will continue with the question and answers. There are written questions, and I will deal with them. And meanwhile, if you have any other comments or any statements, questions, welcome.
You said there is the three character types, and they experience this state of Banga, etc. differently.
Banga jnana, Bhaya jnana, Adhinava jnana.
Yes. And one has aversion to what the teacher, another one has more fear, and the third one more lethargy, and all this. My question is, can one go through all three of these? I mean, not like only the perception type, pleasure type, volition type, but all three in one.
Yeah, definitely. That, but as the character type itself is not concrete, it's an agglomeration of all the three. But one thing is very prominent, very characteristic. So likewise, these three are happen, but only one thing is specializing according to your character trait. Something like the feelings are being specialized by the people, those who are with the pleasure-seeking kind at the early stage. And now they will develop the fear, because their pleasure is going to disappear. It's called the fear of freedom. Even the freedom it appear like a fearful. So you have to understand, from your hedonic point of view, the freedom itself is a fear. That is why you can't go to the freedom. So, changing of the perspective, you will understand, as far as you have the fear of freedom, you will misunderstand, misinterpret the progress in your meditation. That is because your character type is more engaged with the desire and the feelings. Whenever they is being challenged, it appears like a fear. Even the Nibbana appears like a fear. So they are the changing of the view. It takes long time for the conditioning, for training. And the Bhanga jnana is that the breaking off and dissolution is basically for the perception kind of people. And they feel wear and tear. Everything is wear and tear, so they feel uncomfortable. And the volitional kind of people, I will do, this is my job, I am going to do kind of thing. Understand, after all, what I end up with? Everything is ultimately disappearing. Everything. So what? So all tightening belts and fighting and challenging appear like a just childish game. So they are also, they appear like adhinava. They see that whether we do it in such a fighting way and arguing way or not, end result will be the same. So likewise, according to the character type, these three have some kind of a changes.
One more question I have about the bodhisattva, because I'm not familiar with that. You said some person who want to be a bodhisattva, who is a bodhisattva, want to become the next Buddha, can stop by will. I thought it's an automatic process that it goes directly.
It depends on how much of momentum you have developed so far. If it is a little bit of momentum, still you can reconsider. There's a very nice story. It seems that there's a very elderly monk. He was really, really good. But he had a kind of a pet idea, it is better to be a Buddha. And this time if it is going to be an Arahant, so he has a very specific thing. And one day, as I told the last story, the king has come to pay respect to the monk. And he is sick. And this, the shouting, morning, and he's shouting unwantedly. And the king came to know that it's such a developed monk, and ultimately he went off. And then the Samanera looking after, see that the king was so discouraged because he is unwantedly shouting. And he went and told, you may die, but after what happened to us? Every people will discourage, and what you are shouting like that? You are such an elderly person like that. Then the elderly monk asked, what is happened? You don't know. The king already came, but you are shouting, you don't know, and ultimately he discouraged and went. Then the monk was little upset. Then he told, can you help me? can you raise me up and give me the standing posture? And then close the door and go out. I will give you a sound and then you can come. And so Samanera was paying respect. He has going and waiting in the walking path, and he put the attention, and then ultimately he became an Arahant. And he clicked and Samanera came. He says, I don't know, he did a kind of a determination, the king has to come now. So ultimately king came, and there the king understood that he has developed kind of a psychic and all the kind of thing. Samanera goes and asks, what really happens? Because when the king was coming, you are completely very unruly, undeveloped, childish mind. So I went there and you completely make a determination. Now you are, definitely I believe that you have accomplished person. He says, I had a pet idea of becoming a bodhisattva or becoming a Buddha, but seeing your faith, I made up my mind. I changed this thing, so I decided to end up in this life. Because all the other merits and the abilities there. So that indicates, if at his will he can change. But you have to ask from him that question. These are the kind of stories related to even at the end of their life, even at the determined people, sometimes they change their determination for the sake of dispensation, the sasana at large. Otherwise they hide it themselves, they don't express for what they are meditating on, whether they are bodhisattva ideas or they are in this very life. So the question is it at his will? Can he change it or not? Those who have gathered the high momentum, even at their will they can't. But they are the early parts, I think malleability is there.
Banda, you said it's a bad idea to be a bodhisattva. Can you explain it?
I have no idea, because for the moment I don't have. But rather than be a criminal, rather than be a bad person, becoming a yogi and bodhisattva or arahant, I'm fairly good. But the other thing is measuring between the good and the better. It's an open issue. The written question is becoming so on a gradual thing, or is it a big bang? This is to say, the last straw which is going to break the back of the camel. When you add one more straw, the camel's back is broken. So you have to ask that last drop, the last straw. Is it a special straw or normal straw? Last one also normal, but this is giving the cumulative effect of the already added one, then it is break even. So you are going to take this as considered as a special thing and keep it in a golden casket and say, this is the straw, break the back. That comparatively you don't respect the straw already developed, the cumulative. So therefore, the everything happening in the gradual way, but the break-even point is there. Break-even point is the one going to the history. The gradual development is the gradual development. In the anatomical body, where is the solar plexus? Yeah. Yeah, there's a V shape. You can go to the skeleton, there's a pendant-like thing. And then onward the last rib is going to V shape at the center of this thing, the pendant-like thing, that is the one solar plexus is.
Find the lower part of the sternum, we call it the xiphoid process. You must be mentioning that.
Yeah.
Between the ribs you have the sternum. And in the lowest part there's like a pendant, as Vanta said. You can go and have a look. Xiphoid, Z-I-P-H-O-I-D, xiphoid process. It's a part of bone.
So there's a connecting bone. All the ribs are coming and joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are coming and hooking, joining. The lowest most of that is the solar plexus. So the ribs are No, ask the question. No, the question is, in the analytical, anatomical body, where is the solar plexus? It's a kind of a body-related question. Venerable Sir, Kanka Vitarana Visuddhi, purification of knowledge by overcoming doubt. Please explain the doubt described here. In the traditional way, it says doubt about the Buddha, doubt about Dhamma, doubt about the Sangha, doubt about your moral precept, doubt about the past, the future. There are 8 standard things. But here, in the pragmatic sense, you can say whether I am progressing or not. That is the simple doubt. Always you are asking, this is happening, Bhante, am I progressing or not? It feel like that. I mean, that is the way it manifests. That you are really how can I say? When I am going to talk in Sinhalese, some will be not really entertained. So you are so beautiful people. You don't know. That is why Nandamani says, Pipunu male ruwa emala danedo malakidive umba hadaruwa balandepa. When you are meditating, you are naturally beautiful. Don't ask whether I am progressing or you are better than you or better than him. Mind your own business, be mindful. As far as the mindfulness is there, accumulating. But the doubt is appear like a wisdom. It appear like very rationalizing, scrutinizing. Why not? But ultimately it is a wastage of time. But just by telling it, you will not be escaped. Because our mind is such. It is in entertaining doubts. Dear Venerable Sir, in compassion, is compassion an emotion? Yes. That is what I learned from Venerable His Holiness Dalai Lama. Does one feel compassion or think with compassion? Feel is the one, and it is natural thing. The mother feels the love to the children. It is not a quality of the mother, it's a nature of the mother. Mother cannot be a mother if there is no connection. It is not something mother is doing. It is happening. It's just the Buddha, take it as an example. How can a person be both detached and compassionate at the same time? Detached means you are observing as a blind person, hearing as a deaf person, but the mind is full vigilant. You are the person who can do the best thing, the best decision, best thing for the person deprived. But you are emotionally moved, you will be in a haphazard, you don't know what is doing. It's the worst for the patient. That is why such a people must get rid of and give the veteran person to handle it. Because the patience and the emotionally, clinically detachment is an important thing in an accident, in an urgency. I think that is for doctors and OPD, open patient addiction, that the people are coming and there, you must have real clinical detachment. Without clinical detachment, you are professionally not a doctor. So that is the detachment and the compassion work that is the way wisdom and the compassion, they have to balance. The heart and the mind has to be balanced. That is how you become professional in medicine, I think. Medicine as well as in the spiritual sphere. Bhante, please clarify your use of the word dark, which you use in reference as I read to materiality. I ask this because the word dark can be something negative or evil in the common usage. I think this one of the all questions that someone put it there. In walking meditation, is it better to focus on movement of one foot to bring the mind and object close together, or is there a reason why we should observe both feet, right and left? So that means the first part it says, if someone is only mindful on the right leg itself is enough, or the left leg. That is also one way of focusing the attention to the phenomena as and when it happens in the present moment. But in the sitting meditation, you are focusing the attention on one place and let the in-breath and out-breath happen. But here the exercise is, the touching point also changing, still you are mindful. Right leg to left leg to right leg. And still, if you can be mindful, that is more dramatic, that is more the sporty, challengeful. So therefore, both are given as the primary object. If somebody scolds us every time they have any contact with us or me, is it okay to get angry and drop the destructive relationship? Is it okay to get angry and drop the destructive relationship? This happened with someone who scolded every time for 20 years. I got tired of it and lost a relative. So this you can understand, you would have the same business in the past in the samsara. Now it is coming for your turn. So if you are scolding back, you are starting another new momentum. So if otherwise you can understand why the person is scolding, maybe a misunderstanding or sneaking or something kind of. If you can analyze and see there's nothing called, only we can say it is some kind of karmic forces. And they are the most wise thing is, don't make a cause for you to create new karma, new volitions, new involvement, new commitments. Of course, rationally our mind is to tit to tat, fight with the same. But there you may be losing some of the past karma, but by new commitment, you may accumulate a new one, and then you have to be skillful. And that's it's a kind of a story. One woman has cut the throat of a goat, and as a result, that woman in the sansaric journey got so much of cut throats to the number of hairs of the goat. So much of time, each time she get. And now she is in the last chance. And she is growing under a master. One day for a ceremony, master get hold that goat and about to cut. And all of a sudden that goat came to know, this is a perpetual thing in my each lifetime cycle. Now up to the number of my hairs of that goat I have gone through, this is the last one. So even the master is about to cut, the goat became very happy, now finished. This is my last time. And then the master came to know that goat is not tense. This is the first time he see the animal is not fighting. And then the master is about thinking what is happening. Then the goat came to know, came a kind of a communication. It says, this is my last time going to get the punishment. So that's it. So I am not going to worry about. And then the master told, what is the punishment? Why? I also did the same. I cut the goat. And now I got so much of punishment. So now you commit, but I am not. So then master got frightened and keep the knife away. And immediately the thunderstorm came and stuck onto the rock, and the piece came and cut. And the master is also safe, this is also safe, and the goat underwent the punishment very happily, knowing this is the last time. So likewise, when such a perpetual thing happens, it may be easy for me to tell, if it is going to happen to me, I don't know what will be my reaction, but it says, the yogi's responsibility is, whenever such a thing happens, not to commit and start a new affair, a new chain, and surrender into the situation, and then observe the end of this thing.
About the walking meditation, some teachers advise to go backward, but you tell us to walk our normal pace and normal way. What do you think about the walking backward?
Backward is basically, if unavoidable is the sleepiness going to happen, have to break it. And under such circumstances, walk backward. I tried, even that is not working. Still the sleepiness happens. Because when the backward walking, you don't know whether you are step up on the poisonous snake or kind of thing. So it happens, but sometimes the slimy mind comes, even if you go backward, it happens. So it's a kind of a radical method, not assured with the real results. So long questions are there. I feel hesitant to read all kind of things. I am sorry, I have not yet grasped the meaning of access meditation. Yeah. This is access meditation. Please do explain its meaning with blessing. So access concentration it must be. So if someone is going to come to the office and he will be given the direction, you have to come to the Kirindi Valley and come the Vedagama bus and get down at the Mitrigala and walk in the Nissarana path and then go there, and you may feel your iron gate, and when you enter it there you may see the building. That is the map given. So that particular person come to the gate, and when they go there, come to that gate, all the features explained in the book is correct. So he developed a confidence, I got the place. But still he is at the lawn, not in the house. So whenever the person come to the last destiny at the lawn, the access means that upachara means the lawn, and not yet entered into that, but almost at the entering. So this is called access concentration. You are almost at the doorstep, but not entered, not yet absorbed. These are relative terms. You better read. So when you also that email messages also come in the long, I am very hesitant that if it is short, I can go there. So I will ask Aruna's help.
Throughout the suttas, Buddha does refer to a self. That is, a self has something that exists. Current me if I am, in brackets. However, not am unchanging self, hence it is impermanent in that its existence is characterized by change. Please comment on the above.
No comments, you can proceed. It's correct.
Next. Please allow me to be mildly yet politely critical with your response. To say, within brackets, Nibbana is ineffable. Is an answer to the question, what is Nibbana? Only in the sense it is a response to the question. However, that answer is only a platitude. It conveys no information other than a good feeling that a response was made. Similarly, Christianity responds to what is God, filled with platitudes like God is love or God is a mystery. Hence one is forced to conclude that no one knows if there is a Nibbana or a God or gods for that matter. Decisions and knowledge can't use platitudes for data.
Definitely, decisions and kind of thing, if you are behind, definitely Nibbana must be something concrete and you have to go there. But the whole effort is to get rid of decisions. What's the last one? Decisions and?
Decisions and knowledge.
Yeah, we are not worrying about the decision, we are not worrying about the knowledge. Because the decisions and knowledge is the primary cause of suffering. So if you can do away with that itself, you can define as Nibbana.
That was my question. And the problem I have with, because I always hear the same kind of answer. You know, it's ineffable, or it's a mystery, or you have to experience it, and all this. If I'm going to take refuge for something, or if I'm going to run towards something, I want to know what I'm running toward, because there's this, it's like there's this saying that we have, you better watch out what you wish for, you might get it. So I mean, the little joke to that is, what you wish for may be more than what you thought it was, or not as much as what it was. So it's nice to know what you're running toward, as opposed to having a platitude. So see what I'm saying? Am I conveying myself?
Yeah. So, for example, we'll say we can go into that in terms of 5 aggregates. As far as the matter is concerned, we explain the earth element, air element, water element, and the fire. So when these are being explored and understand, still you can't explain the totality. There are some unexplained space. How you are going to define the space? That in terms of space, it is not earth, not air, not fire, not water. Because our knowledge is based on something positive. I call affirmative. But that does not completely explain the picture. So you have to say the matter is in the space and time. And there you can explain in terms of the materiality, the positive, the tangibility, the verifiability, the shape, the manner. But how you are defined the space, you lose your grammar. You can say that there is a space that is not water, not air, and kind of thing. So that Mahasi Sayadaw says in his book, for example, in New Zealand you have kiwi fruit. That's a characteristic kiwi. But Sri Lankan is there, we have all the kind of fruits, but I wanted to explain him the taste of the kiwi fruits. So then we'll say it is not mango, it is not banana, it is not jackfruit. You can say the whole list. But the other person can't figure it out. But instead, if you can get a piece of kiwi fruit and ask him to and put it on the tongue, immediately it comes to know. So therefore, whatever you have not experienced yet, that you have not perceived yet, how can one figure it out? Because your knowledge is based upon your configuration, your perception, that is based upon your limited knowledge. And you fight and say, I must understand the objective. The Buddha says, and there was one person came and asked the Buddha, you have 10 questions, kept it aside, and so if you are going to do kind of thing, I am going to disrobe and go. Disrobe and go. So did the Buddha ask, did I ask you to come and be ordained because I am going to give explanation for these 10? Mind your business, you go. These things are misleading question, and it is leading you to the lunatic, madness. Instead get rid of the defilement, there you are. So you have to clearly understand what are the available defilements, the transgressional kind, the obsessional kind, and the subtle form. When that is removed, what is left behind is the Nibbana. All the defilements are definable. The shapes and the manners are there because that is what the acquaintance we develop. But through that, the leading, the Zen parable is there. It says that the moon is there in the dark night. And the master wanted to tell the disciple, he directed and say, this is the moon. And the disciple is looking at the master's tip of the finger and asks, whatever the way I look at, there is no moon there. So master says, you can't project according to the way I have given. You are looking, you are end up at the what is tangible, and you are looking at there. Of course there is no moon. You have to go projection, and the projection from here to the moon is a huge distance. But it's mentally, if you can understand, this is the way it is presented, this is, you have to draw a line, it's a projection, and then only you can reach the moon. Master can't assimilate that. So therefore this is called the avyakata prasna. Avyakata means Buddha never take it, because it is not leading to understanding of the suffering of truth, noble truth of suffering, or cause, or liberation or path. Buddha says, my teaching is based upon these four noble truths, and when it is happening, it is dealing with the defilements. When that is gone there you are.
Venerable Sir, this is a humble yet strong request for you to give us a Dhamma talk on Paticca Samuppada, because I am sure that you would analyze that basic universal principle in a very profound, pragmatic, inspiring and radical manner, just as you are now doing in Rathavinitha Sutta. It will be most beneficial to us. Thank you very much.
So when you are understand, now we are in a denial way, introducing each and every refinement, but the Punnamantani Putta says, this is not my destiny, leading. But after that, when the Sariputta is asking in a constructive way, now he come in one by. So whenever we come into the Ditti Visuddhi, the Paticca Samuppada is there. So when we come there, we can go little detail and go into the 16 this thing, or the basic principle, Asmin Sati Idang Hoti. So we will be going in the near future.
When I meditate, generally I feel my hands and fingers very stiff, distorted, bent in wrong side, that at first I opened my eyes to see whether anything was wrong with them. Now it is not as bad as that. Does it represent the deceptiveness of mind sensations? If not, what is it? Why only in hands and fingers?
So whenever the passing this Paticca Samuppada and going to the Sammasana Jnana, definitely, as I mentioned, our epidermis, the skin, going to release kind of a special sensations, or sensation will be amplified, some places over-amplified, other places will be oversimplified, and then you feel like you are awkward, are bending forward, or part heavy, other part is light, one part is warm, other part is cold, that kind of a thing going to happen. As far as you are so bounded with your body, you recognize stiffness as stiffness of fingers. You are supposed to understand the nature of the stiffness. This is happening in terms of the fingers. Don't recognize as fingers. See the opportunity and understand the stiffness, the intrinsic nature of the stiffness in terms of your fingers. So the moment you remove the fingers and see, this is what the stiffness under your very nose. And uncontrollability, sometimes it is very heavy, light. It always happens with respect to part, one of the bodily part. So you must understand how to remove the bodily part and feel it's all Sabhava Lakshana, Bhava Lakshana, that means the nature, the stiffness, hardness, warmness, coldness, rather than the different parts. So it is a kind of a intellectual separation must be there. So when you going to happen again and again, specifically going to see, of course it is not happening, it is a kind of a mind game. Ultimately you develop the maturity not to recognize it with the particular bodily part it is going to happen. See the stiffness itself.
Venerable Sir, during yesterday's sermon you said to let go of our fear, hindrances. So what if we die or go mad? My wish, determination, is to become a monk between the ages of 5 or 6 next birth. So it is okay if I die. But if we go mad, what effect can that have on our journey towards Arahant? Won't the insanity or madness hinder a meditator's progress? Please explain what you mean. Thank you.
The Buddha says, Sabbe putujjana ummattaka. Whether you know or not, you are already insane. It says that, how do you call that? A very nice term. No, in the English also it says the neurosis. Neurosis is a kind of imbalance. Not a single being in the world have been hygienically balanced. Everyone has a neurosis. That is what coming from the one life to the other. The error is human. That's one of the very great person has mentioned. The mistake is the intrinsic characteristics of the human. It says neurosis is the human. And each and everyone is deranged. So you are thinking about special kind of a derangement, do not know what kind of are you now. So Buddha is first and foremost understand, Sabbe putujjana ummattaka, everyone is deranged. And therefore whenever the Sigmund Freud is going to say, if you become an artist, that means your psychologically imbalancement is what you are leading to the aesthetic part. If you are a scientist or mathematician, it's still yet another kind of a imbalance. Then later people ask, why you become a psychiatrist? What is the kind of imbalance you have? For the Western, this thing, the healthy mind or healthy psychological situation never thought about, and they are worrying about already recognized neurosis. The Buddha also says, as far as you are not perfected by meditation, you are already deranged. But he is expressing this deranged nature in order to emphasize there is an alternative. Arahantship, that's natural, that's healthy. So others in the Western, there is no such ideal, the healthy situation. So therefore the questioner has to go in front of a big mirror, life size, and stand and still and see, who am I? And then understand what kind of a madness presently have, does that disturb for he or she to meditate and become Arahant here now, not the next life. This deranged situation is not the disqualification. Because everyone, we are in the same boat. The Sabbe putujjana ummattaka, that is not a particular sutta. So I can give you some references, but I don't know exactly the quotation. It is a very famous, but I have to find it for you. Sabbe putujjana ummattaka, it is now, it's very famous because now emotions are being studied now with the brain scanning, and the Dalai Lama proposed to the Western scientists to understand what does it mean by the healthy mind. They got stuck now. There's no healthy mind, there's no definition they have never thought about before. So now they are exploring into that situation. Everyone is entertaining neurosis.
Swamin Wahansa, question. A yogi hear or read about experiences stroke phenomena which will manifest at certain stages of vipassana or samadhi meditation. For an example, subtlety of breath, no breath, nimitta, etc. within brackets, not within brackets, can it now happen that the mind of the keen yogi copies the herd, produces an artificial twin, and presents that in an convincing manner as real first-hand experience to the yogi and also the teacher, within brackets, who may be false also for that trick of the mind. In some meditation centers, yogis get informed when having reached Magga Phala. I came across some yogis who got told so, but don't believe that they have reached that stage at all. Can such achievements, within brackets, also be the result of mutual chains of misunderstanding and the misinterpretations, wrong reporting, and wanting to achieve something? Not long ago, I got told that I experience a certain phenomena because I have read about it, and now I imagine it as true. I am certain that I have experienced it really. Do I sit now in the trap of Upakilesa? ? Thank you, Swamin Wahanse, for giving your viewpoints on this Catch-22 subject. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So this is when we understand the Paticcasamuppada, the very first cause is the avidya, that's the ignorance. So due to the ignorance only the sankhara, mental formations are happening. So if you can go consciously and experience no sanskara, no volition, no will, but still full-fledged living, that is fairly a good guess to say there is no manifestation of avidya. Whenever the avidya is there, will is there. Motivation is there. Result-oriented practice is there. So, I mean, if there is not such a volition, we won't gather here. Definitely yes. But with the will, with the motivation and with the volition we come here, but our effort, we have to understand theoretically we are going towards the edge and wear and tear off and give up all the volitions, all the will, all the motivation, and that is the point we can experience theoretically no manifestation of avidya. And why I am talking about avidya is, whenever avidya is explained, we simply say it is lack of knowledge. But it's working in the double fold, simple unknowing and misperception. Simple unknowing is the rational way of defining the mind for the avidya, but the misperception is really perverting the situation. So simple unknowing you can remove by teaching, but the misperception, never. So therefore, these things, 50% you have the doubt. So whenever Jnanarama explaining, he says, you may achieve, no problem, but please underestimate. Underestimate and keep on practice. And the other thing is, this problem happen, as mentioned in the question, the result-oriented supply and demand and theory. So if you are not behind such a petty things, problems may be there in the world, forgive and forget about you, man, mind your own business. So more and more it happening to me now to say this, mind your own business. Whenever the mindfulness is defined, it says that world is full of problems. Why should we worry? Because we are practitioners. We are not going to ask this kind of people, am I Sotapanna? Or as this and that? No. Whenever it has happened, you have to shed off and say, still I am on the path. Even after the enlightenment, Buddha was meditating. So keep on doing. So therefore these questions by answering you can do, but as far as eliminating of your doubts are concerned, there are some ways and means. The basic thing is, the avidya is manifested in double fold. Simple unknowing and the misperception. Your misperception, you are the last to understand. Others can understand. Therefore you have to have others' viewpoint. Constructive viewpoint, not the destructive viewpoint. For that you have to have the noble friends, not the normal chattering people. But the thing is, whenever the noble chattering people happen, if you are going to get rid of them, you are creating enemies. So you have to have a kind of a lullabying for them and have the relationship with the direct contact with the noble people, get the reflection, get their impression. They are not really initiative for that, but you have to learn the art of it and understand how much we have the misperception. So that result-oriented approach itself is a misperception. It cannot be answered by the theoretical way. So it is a lifelong experimenting going on.
The misperception is due to volition, is that what you said?
Very difficult to reduce it to something. It is but the conditioning we have. Culturally, our upbringing and our values and everything is a misperception. Everything is making a repercussions. Everything is making ourselves crooked. Never straightforward, but we are started from the straightforward situation like children. More and more we grow, we have our set of values. Each and every set of values is going to create nothing but a repercussion. By giving it up, no damage happens, but we give it up only at the last thing.
So essentially, academically speaking, everything's eisegetical. Yeah. As opposed to exegetical.
So one person asked that how I think Achan Brahm, he asked how can we understand whether someone became an arahant or not. He says, but once become arahant, no questions. Till that, asking question and this the question. But I am definitely telling this is not to discourage you from asking questions. But you have to please come back and see from where this propulsion happens. From where this air happens. It is either desire, either conceit or ego. Egoistic. So, moment you understand from where this question arises, rather than articulating, you will see the source. And that even if it is you understand the mechanism, you have to understand by answering, it will never appease. Again and again the question to question to question to question going on.
Can't it be that you just don't know?
Teacher say?
I mean, you're saying desire, conceit, or ego.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a little bit of that in all of us, but can't it just be you're asking questions because you don't know the answer?
Yeah. As far as the teacher is concerned or your partner is concerned. I didn't get you the question.
You were saying you want to go within, right, and find out where these questions are coming from.
Yeah.
Is it desire, conceit, or ego? Well, what about just ignorance? You don't know the answer.
That is observation. You have to keep on observing because this questioning nature, the air, ever coming. You have enough raw materials to experiment with.
You have enough what?
Raw materials.
Uh-huh.
Because ever the propulsion happens. Again and again, even if you suppress it, again happens. So when and where happens, you understand from which source, from what base this question comes.
I don't understand.
In order to fulfill one of your desires, or in order to show your conceit,
I see.
in order to show that I am also a member of the society, so I also have egoistic kind of thing.
I see.
So these are the three the Buddha has given. So in that sense, the list is complete.
Bhante, can I ask a
Sir,
question?
we ask questions because we don't know.
1 minute. One is asking.
What the lady said was, I asked because I don't know Bhante. That's why I'm asking. Now this question is, you said the advanced yogi, who is a perception type, sees everything bursting, like when he sleeps. What is bursting? The air, or when he's sleeping, what is bursting?
What is bursting?
You said bursting. That's what I understood.
Bursting, exploring. Explored. I can't remember the context. Yeah. Yeah, that is that you appear like one lump, but when it is bursting, you see it is not a single, it is an agglomeration of many things. So with the fire crack or fire, how do you call fire? Not the cracker. What is doing? You all are doing in the Independence Day? Firework. So when it's bursting, everything going to atomizing. So otherwise, till up to the point, it appears like a one thing, and then once bursting, so nothing new, the agglomeration disperse. So whenever the Bhangajnana level, or highly accelerated Udyabba, when you look at something, your mind never ready to accept it as an entity. Never accept it as a unit. It disperse, cut into pieces and go. Analytical power. Incessant analytical power. So ultimately it appears like everything is bloating.
So that can cause a bit of psychological problems, isn't it, Bhante?
Definitely, that if you are psychologically upset, you never go up to this level. At the sammasana level, you will get dropped. This is happening for the very well confirmed balanced yogis only go up to that high jhanas. And even at the sammasana level, when it is start to happen, psychological people, they start the aggravating their situation.
Because Eckhart Tolle also said, Bhante, there was a stage when he was just sitting in a park and just doing nothing.
Yeah.
So he must have been at that stage then.
So that even the bursting happened, he never claim it, he never assume it, he never recognize this as me, mine and myself. It is like a firework. He can detach from the situation, no problem. But the psychologically imbalanced people recognize with it, assume with it. It is me or bursting and exploding. So he lead to fear, uncertainty. So then he starts shivering and sweating and all the kind of things. So much so if you have the permanent notion, that will be threatened by impermanence going to manifest. So much you have the pleasure seeking game, when the suffering going to manifest, you feel fearful.
So these people, Bhante, have to be only monks and nuns because they won't be able to...
Monks and nuns are the worst for that. They are kind of a lot. Monks and nuns. Monks and nuns. Worst lot. They are not meditating. They are just wearing the robes and just waiting. So I am talking not the external attire. The mindset must be undergoing so much of stages. 4 purifications now undergone. Each and everyone is a hurdle. Those who are going to the Patipada Jnana Darsana is not a normal soldier, they are special task force soldiers. They are selected from the soldiers, now given the special task force training, no charuchuru. It is not the teacher's decision, it is the particular decision, it is by hardening process. Same thing, keep on hardening. If any mistake happen, either you have to adjust into, but the never jnana will adjust into your wish. You have to adjust. And we have the capacity. If you have the beginner's mind, if you have the faith.
Bhante, you said all the time beginner's mind, but I had it when I started meditating. I had no idea about all this stuff. And I meditated very happily and easy. And as more as I know, as more difficult it gets. And more this stuff I know, it more difficult it gets. And how can I come back to this beginner's mind when I know so much?
No, that is the de-learning process. Unassuming process. The learning process is time-taking, unassuming is just one moment. If you know the art, deconstruction, de-learning, unassuming. So yogi, the vipassana yogi, it must be the basic building block. Beginner's mind, Zen mind, beginner's mind. The Zen mind means what I am recognizing as the vipassana yogi. So that is the beauty of we get together and shed off all the ego, cut off all the conceit, and if we have any desire, we take each other as a mirror And we promise ourselves, if it is natural, it is happened, but don't promote it, don't claim it, don't assume it. Whenever it happens, I have to tell him that you are doing with the egoistic or kind of thing. Then if he is ready to accept, okay. But if it is not so, I have to say, sorry, mind your own business, you go your own way. But if you are the noble friends, if you are practicing, each one be a mirror to each other.
Sorry if I am talking out of my ego. I heard you saying that one must underestimate one's practice. And secondly, you said that one must not be result-oriented in one's practice. Is that right?
Yeah. Not the underestimating your practice, underestimating your achievements, spiritual achievements. And not only that, spiritual achievement, all your worldly achievement also. Renunciate.
Also, if not result-oriented, it is difficult to practice, isn't it? We have a goal to achieve. So isn't that being result-oriented?
Yeah, at the beginning of the sitting, beginning of your career of the meditator, full of volition, full of will, full of motivation. Arahantship means no motivation, no will, no the volition. So you have to understand how this grossness to the subtlety, this is disappearing. When it disappears, you must be happy. You must monitor in such a way, the willfulness disappearing. The volitions are disappearing. Motivations also disappearing. You are doing for the sake of doing. That is the Patipada Jnana Dasana Vishesha. There, yogi, I do not understand why I am sitting and meditating. Because there is no other thing can do. Because all the other things are accumulating of defilements. This is the least frictional part. He or she will not say, I am going to go achieve this or that. There is no something definable in the worldly sense. So that is the most beautiful and this is the most aesthetic thing in the human life you are doing. The full-fledged you are doing, no hope, no aim, no the results aiming at. Okay, now it is 3:15, 2.5, almost 2.5 hours, so we'll go for a walking and be here, 4 o'clock or 4:30. We'll meet again at the 4:30. Usually it is meant to be 4 o'clock, but to have a cup of tea and have a this thing, and we'll be meeting here at 4:30. Thank you very much for participation.